All right, here we go. Episode 561, May 2nd, 2025, 8:16 p.m. All right, so today I had a Zoom call with Mina. That'll be at the end of this one, at the end of this episode. I've got, what did I do? So today I slept the fuck in, and by that I think I got up around 7:30. I just could not fall asleep last night. Go figure, because I took a nap, but here's what it is. Woke up and it was so beautiful outside. So I walked around my little complex, where I live. There's, let me think, 1, 5, 9, I don't know. There's probably 15 buildings. Each building has, I don't know, 8 units. And it's a small little corner of a bigger block. It's got there's a pool, there's a big, or I say big, but it's like the size of a wealthy person's backyard, maybe. I don't know. And then it's got a playground, and then that's pretty much it. So I just walked around that, kind of in and out of the in between the zigzag in the buildings, because it was so beautiful. And I did that around, I don't know, maybe 7:45. And I felt, I don't know, actually, maybe it was 8 o'clock. But I did that, and it's just so nice to get outside first thing in the morning and just breathe some fresh air and look at the sunrise. It's just one of my most favorite things ever. And I did that, and that was just a fantastic way to start the day. Then I came inside, got some caffeine going, and that was fucking awesome. So I drank some Gorilla Mind, and I've been a big fan of those. They got the nootropic profiles in there. So it's an energy drink, but it's got the cognitive benefits as well. So I can't remember his last name. The guy who formulated it, his name is Derek. It's like more plates, more dates. That's his podcast or his YouTube. I don't know. But he's got a lot of good stuff on there on his YouTube, and kind of followed him, not really, but he just got good stuff. So that's who makes that product, and I would recommend you try it. But anyway, and then I pretty much started my work day, and I got, as far as actual work goes for what I'm working on for Brian, I clocked 5.3 hours. Oh, yeah, I didn't go to work today. I called in. I did not use some PTO. So as far as that goes, I've got a grand total of like 4 hours left of PTO. So no, I've got 5 hours left. So next week, when I get 8 more hours, that'll put me at a grand total of 9 annual leave and then 4 sick leave. So I used up all my sick. I'm sure I'll hear about it next week, but dude, it's mine. I'm going to use it, And next week, we are supposed to hear back from the resignation. And my plan is that Monday, I mean, this could all just fall through and it could all not go through and I'd just be screwed over anyway. But either way, I'll be all right. Monday, hopefully we get an email that says what's going on, and then we'll go from there. And I'm just going to hope that it's a yes, and then I'm going to plan accordingly. So if it's a yes, well, when it's a yes, I'm going to tell my supervisor and get all that paperwork shit going. And then from there, I will have, I'll have that whole week to get out of there. But if I have a day and a half of PTO and it's a short week, that means I will not be working Thursday, and I'll only work half of Wednesday. So it's kind of an extra short week. And then I don't know if I'll have to go back in at some point to use, or to go back in there to, give them my cards and stuff like that. If I do, I couldn't give a shit. So I'll go and do that Monday, and then I'll be a free man. So that's the plan, because I am very hopeful that I get approved. I have been checking the Reddits. There's 3 pages that I've been following very closely. One of them it's called Megathread, Riff, Vera, VSIP, DERP, Week 15. Another one is DRP approved, DoD Navy. And I only follow that because there's people that talk about the Air Force. And there's DRP 2.0 DAF, which is me. And I'm sure I could find more. Matter of fact, let's just check. Yeah, DRP. Let's see. Well, this one's 2 months ago, but let's just see what it says. I finally received an email from HR to verify my participant in RPT. I work in Civ. Does anyone know timeline when I'll hear? Oh. Yeah, this is, I know this is 2 months ago, but I'm still looking. Cool. What else is there? Let's see. UDP, LS, leave. Let's see this. I'm using it, no problem so far. Yeah, that's nothing. Okay, anything else? I don't see anything. Let's filter this. So let's go past week. DoD RIF updates. Do you want to hear more from DoD DRP? What's this one? Update? Anybody respond recently? Let's see. Thanks for the update. I'm actually going to favorite this one as well. This one looks like it could have some stuff in the future. Anyway, so if you go and look at them all, there's nothing that would suggest that I'm screwed. So I am Department of Defense, Department of Air Force. I am, well, I don't know how much information I should share, but I am, okay, all I'll say is that everything that I am, I have not seen one thing on anything with Reddit and people posting shit. And there's like a dozen posts every hour, maybe. During work hours, there's a lot more, I would say. And it's pretty poppin', I'll say. So I have not seen one post, one thing that would suggest that I'm screwed. Not one, not even close. There's been other things that have been, other people who have been exempt and they've been talking about it, but it's not even remotely close to what I do. I mean, these guys are in the Navy, the Army. I've seen some IRS stuff. I've seen Department of Education. I've seen, what else is there? DOD Army. I just said that, I think. DA, DF, DSF, DFS, DFAS or something, DFAS. USACE. I've seen different Department of Air Force, but I've not seen anything close to my job series, which is a four-digit thing. What else is there? So I've not seen anything. All I'm trying to say is I've not seen anything that says, oh shit, my position or what I do is exempt. Not even close. And I can only believe that I'm good based on, even my supervisor's boss, we call that my second line, he said that there should be no reason why I would be exempt. He can't see that. The HR person said, exemptions should be rare. This time there's no line drawn in the sand for working capital fund employees. It's not even it's not even anything unless you're in medical or unless you are critical to the mission or unless your whole shop or whatever, pieces out. I can't see that happening. So, that's what's going on. So all that to say, next week, I fully plan on getting the email that says, hey, you're good to go. Let us know how you want to peace out. And we'll go from there. So, I'm just very hopeful. I want the green light. It's just going to be insane, dude. Last time I didn't have a job that I had to go to. I guess that was in 2023, technically. Well, actually, no, because I still was working FedEx even on the weekends. Because when I moved back from Colorado, I lived with my uncle and my aunt. And for maybe a week or two, I didn't have a job. And then I got FedEx on the weekends. And then 3 months later, that's when I started my full-time job. And then I worked every day, literally every day, until August of last year. That's when I quit FedEx. So almost a full year of working every single day. And I what episodes would those be then? That would be, let me think about this. Actually, that would be episode 1. Holy shit, that'd be episode 1 till 301B. So the first 300 episodes were of me working every single day. That's pretty interesting. That's a fun fact. The first 301 episodes, I worked every day. Now, obviously, I took days off and, called in sick, whatever. So I didn't work every single day for 300 days. But that's that. Why the fuck did I bring that up, dude? Oh, yeah, so the last time I didn't have a job, I guess, would be, aside from that, would be in 2020 when I quit my job to do online coaching during COVID. And I was living at home, and then that didn't work out that well because then I got lazy, and then I quit, and I went and got a job. Fun fact, this is in 2020. I got a job. I got hired back at Smith's. This is a very long story. I'm not going to tell it. But I got hired back at Smith's, which if you're not from Utah or I think Idaho, that would be Fry's or King Soopers or Fred Meyer or Kroger. And I remember they hired me back at $17.50 an hour, and I was freaking out because I thought that was so much. And I was like, holy fuck, I quit at like 14. How come they're hiring me back at 17? I got to quit, you know? And long story short, they had to let me go because there was something on my record. I actually sold tobacco to a minor on accident in 2016. And because it was within a 5-year time span on my record or something before it was expunged, I don't know. They just said I couldn't. They had to let me go because that's not allowed. And I said, I literally did it here. And they said, sorry, we got to let you go. And I said, no, I did it here. And I still was employed a year and I think a year and a half afterwards. There was no problem. So why am I now not allowed to have, that's fucking stupid. Anyway, dumb logic, dumb rules, all good. So, but yeah, just so a little side note, it was crazy because I was making $17.50 for a second. I thought, holy shit, this is insane. But now I'm almost double that. And it's like, I don't want to say that's not a lot, but to support what I'm trying to do, I'd like that to be like doubled or some shit. But I'm grateful, and I've been, dude. I don't know if blessed is the right word to say, but I feel like I'm just fortunate to have taken advantage of these opportunities when they were presented. There's that old saying that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And I kind of feel that way with what I'm doing now with Brian and Mina. If I wasn't so into all this spreadsheet stuff and the numbers and the calculations and all this stuff, if I wasn't so into it, if I wasn't trying so hard to make something happen, then these wouldn't have even been opportunities that I would even noticed. But because they were opportunity, or because I was into this, I recognized these as opportunities that I could take advantage of. And now here we are. So pretty damn cool. So was I lucky? No, I disagree. I would just say I was ready to I was prepared to take advantage of an opportunity that presented itself. So, yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about this. Obviously it's not official. I'm still waiting. But when I get that green light, dude, okay, if I don't and they say no, I'm exempt, what am I going to do? Well, I'm not just going to quit. I'm not going to do that. Definitely going to be very bummed. And truthfully speaking, I just might bail out. And first of all, when I say quit, I'm not just going to quit anyway. That's not what I meant. I still might leave and go back to FedEx because I am so burnt out of where I work. I actually, this is not me to post shit, publicly on a public forum like Reddit, especially because it's anonymous. But what did I can't remember what I said. Here it is. So somebody said, DOD DAF, wow, still nothing heard. I can't believe this. And I was thinking, and I was like, dude, more supporting reason for a decision to get out of here. This is the level our leaders operate at with a mission as crucial as ours is. We get weekly emails requesting information about our previous week's tasks that we accomplished, which is the 5 bullets, but we can't ask them what they're doing or where our email is. If you or anyone reading this needs a sign to leave, here it is. And I don't know. It's just leadership. There's another old saying. People don't quit jobs, they quit bosses. And just the hierarchy of where I work, technically if you go all the way up the chain of the command, we get Donald Trump. That is the line of work that I'm in. But, you have first line, second line, flight chief. I don't know what the fuck is after that, bro. I couldn't give a shit, to be honest with you. Director? I don't know. No, you have one left. Something, and then director. Who gives a fuck? And then you go up the chain of command, whatever. But there's like a dozen levels, and it's like, well, why, dude? Like we have all this. It's a big pyramid, not a pyramid scheme, but it's a big pyramid, and just be a, I don't know, just dude, it gets me so upset. If you're gonna be in leadership, then dude, fucking lead something, you know. And it sucks because this is government. And there's no, you don't have to go fast. You can go as slow as you want. There's no urgency. There's unlimited money. If this were a real corporation, it would have crumbled to the ground fucking millenniums ago. Is that what you say? Millennium? Yeah, millenniums ago. Centuries ago. I think a millennium is 1,000 years. Is that right? How many years is 1,000? Oh, I guess I should have. What is 1,000 years called? Yeah, millennium. And then a century's 100, decades 10. What's 10,000 years called? Decamillennium. Ooh, what's 100,000 years? Centimillennial. Centimillennial. Okay, what about 1 million years? Mega year. Meganum. Hold on. The fuck is this? We gotta pronounce this. Pronounce it, please. All right, how do you pronounce this? Mega, A-N-N-M-E. Okay, so M-E-G-A-A-N-N-U-M. Meganum. This term comes from the word parts of mega, which means huge, and annum, which means year. Mega year. Huge year. What is the term for a billion years? Eon. An eon. Yeah, so the whole corporation, if this were an actual business, would have collapsed an eon ago. So there's that. And dude, tell me I'm wrong, bro. Whoever's listening, tell me I'm wrong. We waste so much shit. Everyone's lazy as fuck. I mean, I haven't worked personally in the last 3 weeks. I've been paid for every second of it. And I promise I'm not the only one. I promise there's at least 1 million more people exactly like me that all of our money as taxpayers is going to. Now, I guess technically I'm part of the problem because I'm still up there and I'm taking a paycheck even though I'm not doing shit. However, actively trying to leave. And I would like to leave, and be on in the best possible terms for myself. But I mean, I think it's common sense, but anyway, dude, it's just hard. I mean, I'm gonna share this. So we have a suggestion box at work. There's little papers on there. You can fill it out. And I was like, dude, I can think of so many things that could be improved around here. And so I wrote literally over 50 things, like paragraphs. I printed it off and I folded it up, stapled it all together. I think there's 12 pages. I put it in the box, and guess what? I haven't heard a word about any of it. I put my name on there, I put my email. You can make them anonymous, but I put that on there, and I haven't heard shit. So then, I think a month later, I put another thing in there, just a normal note, and I said, how about we get, I said it very professionally, but I said, how about when we make a suggestion, you acknowledge it by letting us know that you read it, and if you're going to accept or reject, or if you're going to think about it or whatever, so that way we are not shouting into the void, we're not talking to a wall, and we know that our voice is being heard, and our concerns are acknowledged and validated, whatever. And they responded to, I'm just playing, they didn't respond, dude, you fucking joking? No, so no one responded to that, nobody acknowledged it. The person that comes in and takes those, and I don't know if he knows my name, but we had a conversation about it, and not about that. We just had a conversation about suggestions and whatever. And so why would I ever want to try to make things better if every time I make a suggestion, it gets ignored or it gets turned down or whatever? Like, fuck that. Like, what a great place to be. Dude, I could bitch and moan about this for all night long. There's a lot of great things about it. We get, great insurance. We get a lot of time off. Things are very chill. We get every other Friday off. We get every federal holiday off. We get all this PTO. I'm pretty sure I just said that. We essentially get it. So we get every Friday off, but with the PTO that we get, we essentially could take every other Friday off and only work 4-day work weeks, obviously you wouldn't have any PTO. And of course they would, scrape your nutsack on a manhole, because that's not allowed. You can't use what they give you, otherwise you get in trouble. So there's that. And whoever's listening, a coworker, family, I don't give a fuck, dude. That's what they do, and it's some horse shit. Here's $100, but don't spend it. If you do, you're a piece of shit, and we're gonna write you up for it. You can only spend that $100 when you have 10 grand, okay? But when you have 10 grand, you just don't use it all at once, okay? But if you get too much, if you start getting 100 grand, you have to use it, pussy. It's like, what are we talking about here, bro? So that's, anyway, there's a lot of great things. There's a lot of great things. But for me and where I'm trying to go, the cons outweigh the pros, and I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. I've been given quite an opportunity to be up there. I mean, it's just who I knew. My uncle got me up there, and without him, I would not have gotten a job. So that's not me being ungrateful, because this has provided so much for me. However, I didn't have to take the job. I didn't have to apply. I didn't have to talk with him and, agree to take it or whatever. I didn't have to do any of that, but I did. And because I did, that's how he helped me, and that's how I got up there. So all that to say, though, grateful for the opportunity, and time for a new chapter. And I am stoked to get the fuck out of there. So all that to say, again, I would probably look into going back to FedEx, even though it's not, truthfully, on paper, it's not the smartest move. It's a lot more hard-ass labor of work. My take-home pay would actually go up, but I would not have insurance, which, dude, fuck, I've used insurance 5 times in the last decade, but it is what it is. Oh, dude, don't even get me started with insurance, bro. Car insurance, never used it once. I paid for it for almost 12 years, or for almost a decade now. This year it'll be a decade. What the fuck's up with that, bro? All good. So my pay would actually go up, but I wouldn't have insurance. So if I were to pay for insurance, I think total my take-home pay would go down. And that's... So my take-home pay would go down, but the likelihood that I still work 50 hours a week, I think that would go down. And I say 50 hours because I'm going to explain this again. If you're on a road trip and you stop to go get gas, your pit stop does not start when you arrive at the gas station and get out. It starts the second you hit the brakes, the second you hit the brakes to get on the on-ramp or the off-ramp so you can turn, and then it ends the second you get back up to speed in the lane that you were in. Because that whole event is something that you wouldn't have done if you wouldn't have taken the pit stop anyway. So if you take a pit stop and you go to a gas station and you're in there for 30 seconds, you get back in your car, that's not a 30-second detour. It's probably 10 minutes, because you got to take 2 minutes to get in the off-ramp, drive, park, whatever, 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out. Then you got to go back up there, get back to speed, whatever. And then there's, another 3 minutes. So we'll just round it up. We'll just say 6 minutes total. Now that's if you're hauling ass. 6 minutes pit stop. It wasn't 30 seconds. So with going to work, my shift, the hours that I would allocate for working, begin at the second that I begin doing stuff in the morning that I wouldn't otherwise do if I didn't have work that day. So I wouldn't pack a lunch. I wouldn't start any of that shit. Even though that I'm going to prepare food that day, I'm not going to count that. So I start packing a lunch around 4:20, 4:30. Go to work, blah, blah, blah. And then when assuming I don't go to the gym, I always go to the gym right after work. It just saves me time. But if I were to come straight home, I would get home and I would put my lunch and get all that shit away, put my backpack down, get my laptop out and set it up around 2:45-ish. So that's, if you just want to round it up or round it down, technically it'd be 10 hours. So some weeks I do that 5 days a week. Other weeks I do it 4 days a week. So you can say that the average is 45. You can say 1 week is 50, the other week is 45 or 40, doesn't matter. But yeah, so I just can't see myself working 50 hours a week with FedEx unless I did a 6th day, in which I would get a lot more money for sure. Because if I'm getting, we'll just say $200 a day, and I only work 6 hours, but there's a drive time back and forth of an hour, or getting my stops ready or whatever. I'll just say this. So if I wake up at 7 and then I start prepping my shit at 7:30, if I wake up at 6:30, start prepping my shit at 7, then that's when the shift starts. So 7, and let's just say I work till 3, I get back to the terminal 4 o'clock, I get home 4:30. That is 7:30 to 4:30. That's 9 hours. And, truthfully speaking, that's a longer day because, if you're working till 3, I mean, shit, when I was in Arizona, there were some days where I was off at noon. Most of the time it was 1 or 2. Sometimes it was 3. There's a couple days in Colorado, I worked till fucking almost midnight. It was crazy. But Colorado's a different beast with FedEx. I was doing 250 stops. I had a streak of like 8, what was it? It's like 28 or 29 shifts in a row over 250 stops, something like that. If you're a FedEx driver, you know anything about that, you'll know that's a fuck ton, dude. Consistently like that, that's crazy. Then my highest was 374. Pretty sure. 374. Yeah, for sure it was. Who gives a fuck? And anyway, so with FedEx, I'm looking at a 9 hour, like 8 to 9 hours. So per day already, that's going to save me almost 10, like 5 to 10 hours a week. So I'm going to get more time back for slightly more money, technically. So that's what would happen. It is very laborious work, though. It's hard-ass labor, dude, because I'm not walking door to door. I'm jogging, so I'm just literally running all day. Voice cracks, love it. And I definitely... It's honest, truthfully speaking, if you're trying to, like, get that shit done, I don't think it's a healthy job. I don't know, man. Because you got to stop and eat. I don't have time to stop and eat, bro. Well, I have plenty of time to stop and eat. I don't want to stop for a half hour, get a cold, kind of get stiff, and then eat something, have my stomach full. Because there's no shitter in the trucks, dude. If you got to shit or you got to piss, you got to drive to the nearest station. I don't piss in bottles. I did that once. I felt like the biggest jackass, biggest slob ever, so I stopped doing that. And I remember exactly where I was. I was in Arizona. I was by Tierra Buena, or Tierra Vista, the fuck was it? Buena Vista Lane? Glendale? I don't even know. I guess I don't know where I was. It was right by a park, though. And I was on... Who gives a fuck, bro? That's where I did it. And then I felt like a piece of shit afterwards because I had to get out of my truck and throw away a bottle full of apple juice, Gross. But anyway, so if you got a belly full of food, you got to find somewhere. You got to be in the vicinity of a shitter. And that just doesn't happen. Dude, not to be all TMI, but like if you're all sweaty and you got to take a shit, dude, that sucks. Because it's not like you just shit. It's like, oh, sweaty ass cleaning... You're trying to clean your ass, and then you got that gross, dude, it's fucking nasty. Not my cup of tea. I don't like being dirty. I don't like being all sweaty and gross and dirty arms, and I don't like that stuff. But if it gets me out of a situation that I'm in now, I think I'm all for it. There's just certain people that I see every day. I don't want to see them. I want to kind of do my own thing. I like when people don't talk to me, and I like not being bothered. And FedEx would grant me all those wishes and more. So, not to mention, dude, I don't want to be, I don't know, dude. 50 suggestions. I've revamped so many processes. Well, not processes. I've come up with, dude, when we give our appraisals for work, that's what they're called. It's essentially you go in there and you pretty much just, tell them how great you are and what you've done to go above and beyond. My shit was so long, I couldn't even fit it in the boxes that they provided. I put so much on there that I had to print off a packet of 10 pages and front and back and give it to my supervisor because that shit wouldn't fit in the boxes they gave us. And it was very concise. I mean, I even had ChatGPT help me write it. So we're talking like 1 to 2 sentences or 3 sentences per thing. And there was just no room. Like I think they give you a character count of like 5,000 characters per box, and my shit didn't fit. That's what she said. And so not to say that I'm like the fucking man and I've done everything, but I've done a lot for the shop, for others, for the efficiency, for the understanding, for the I guess just simplifying things, making it easy. Like there's order forms that I revamped, made it easier to look at, made it easier to figure shit out. I made cheat sheets. I made a literal step-by-step guide on how to do every single thing in the whole goddamn shop, start to finish, with page numbers, with reference sheets, with blueprints, everything. Because I wanted to. Partly because I think that shit's awesome. But I did all of that. I gave 50 suggestions. You know, I'm being ignored, not acknowledged, not, oh, fuck all that. Dude, I don't even need anybody to say that these are great ideas or that, hey, you're the smartest person. Don't tell me that. Just say, hey, dude, we saw all these suggestions. We appreciate you writing these. However, right now, we're not going to look into these. We got other things that are priority, and we'll let you know if we, circle back. If not, we just want to say thank you for doing that. Not a lot of people do this. Appreciate it. That would suck, but that would be way better than just leaving me on red, leaving me on scene. Not to mention that I did everything correctly. I filled out the paperwork. I signed the thing for the resignation, and now they are technically like 2 weeks late of getting an email out. Not one email has been sent. So you're telling me these people at the very top can't say, they can't go like this. CMXG, all personnel, or whatever, DRP, whatever, email. So, okay, hey guys, so right now we are working on getting these reviewed and sent, period. In the meantime, please be patient. This is very unlike us. Parentheses, just kidding, we suck ass, parentheses. Please be patient, and we will get an email out sometime next week. Thank you for your patience. See you later. Send and send. That's all they need to do right there. I did it for them. They're done. Do that. The fact that they can't, that's extremely inconsiderate. I think it's very unprofessional. The fact that they're the ones leading the ship, they're the ones above us doing, who the fuck knows what, probably doing what I'm doing, sitting on my ass and trying to learn how to code. Like, dude, I don't want any part of that, dude. The benefits, the PTO, all that shit, that's nice. And, I'll miss that for sure. But, dude, nah, fuck all that. I'm out. So, circling back, if I get denied, little side tangent there. If I get denied, then that's going to suck. I'm going to do what I can for the time being, and then I'm going to line things up with FedEx more than likely, and then peace out. Or maybe I just stick it out. Maybe I, I don't know. I probably won't. I'll probably peace out. But that's what will happen if I don't get it. But let's not even entertain that idea after I spent, an hour and a half talking about it. Let's just bank on the fact that I am getting it, and 100% gonna have my own shit going on in less than 2 weeks. It's funny because there's a lot of people, I'm on the Reddit thread again. There's a lot of people that are, I guess, taking this up the ass. Like, how could they do this to us? We are such great workers. And this guy, this is 2 hours ago, he says, I think we all in DAF should contact our major command at the fort. I'm just going to read this exactly how I wrote it. You guys know that I hate when people don't use punctuation, because you need to be able to pass like a certain level of English or whatever your language is exam with proper punctuation and all that shit before you're allowed to access the internet. If I was president, dude, you got to be able to pass. And if you can't pass, then you don't get access to the internet. It's as simple as that. So he says, I think we all in Department of Air Force should contact our major command, the 4-star level, via email and tell them that we are getting robbed from days, if not weeks, of administrative leave because they slow walk this, and I think they ought to direct our directors to put us on 10 days administrative leave, what paperwork goes through to make up for them. Slow walking in and screwing us out of our severance time off, if you will. 2 sentences, and that could have been like 12. Could have had, an introduction to the characters and description of the scene, but they just one sentence. All good. That's what he said. His name is Fed Up DRP2. Clever, bro. What else we got? Yeah, that's about it. DHA crickets too. Okay, whatever. But anyway, everything that I'm seeing says Monday, and there's a lot saying that if not Monday, then later that week. So next week, I'm just next week for sure gonna have an answer. That's my belief. And if I don't, then oh, bummer, dude. That's gonna blow extra cockiness right there. But what can you do? You know. So. Oh, anyway. So as far as Brian's shit goes, I worked on getting the tweaks and adjustments done. He wanted some sheets white instead of dark. And it's funny because I recorded all these videos already with a black sheet. So now me changing the white sheet, it's going to look different. And I'm going to try to keep the videos the same and not have to re-record them. But if he makes me record them, I guess I get paid for it. But it's just annoying, dude, you know? It's like you make a full cake and it's got, you know, purple insides and the person's like, actually, can you make it yellow on the inside? It's like, you know what, dude? I absolutely can. However, I got to redo everything else. So if you're okay with that, then yes. So that's, it is what it is. For some reason with this Google app script, I know I've talked about it on here before, I can't get the homepage requirements and the privacy policy requirements to work. And the other thing that I did today was I bought a domain. I'm not going to say what it is. I don't want people looking at my shit yet. But I bought a domain, which is just a, you know, www. Did I say 4 W's? www. And then whatever.com. I bought one of those. It's actually, I'm not going to say anything else. I bought one of those, made my own website, got it hooked up with WordPress so that I could hurry and make something. Because I was going to use Nito site, and I was because it's free, but I have to own the homepage has to be registered to me. So I can't use that because it would be, you know, Bryson's whatever dot nitowebpages.com, whatever. And I can't have that. It has to be, you know, brysonshit.com. So I had to make my own shit, pay for it, and I had to pay for web hosting, about a year of that. And then I put all my stuff on there, so the privacy policy, the terms and conditions, for this fucking web app that doesn't do shit except fills empty cells with numbers. That's it. And then it still says your app has not met homepage requirements. Please resolve the following issues. It says my homepage URL is unresponsive. And it says my homepage website is not registered to you. Yes, it the fuck is, bro. And what do you mean it's unresponsive? If I click the link right now, it takes me straight to it. Let me click it right now. Let's see. All right there. Right there. Here it is. I'm looking at it. What about click the privacy policy? Oh, there it is. Terms of service. Oh, there it is. Home. Oh, there it is. What the fuck you mean, bro? Oh, it's so annoying. And then it says my privacy policy requirements aren't met. It says my privacy policy URL is unresponsive. Dude, what do you fucking mean? Well, my app functionality, branding guidelines, appropriate data access, request minimum scopes, all that shit, I believe, is fine. It says it's under review, but it's been under review for like a week now. And it just sucks, dude, because I didn't anticipate all of this. Brian's waiting on me. And not to mention that the whole sheet that we're waiting on right now, that he's waiting on, half of it I didn't make. The parts that I did, I like a lot. The other parts, they're so bad, dude. Like I part of me does not want to even do this because I have to put my name next to this shit. I have to say, yeah, Bryson Sessions made this. So when someone asks a question, they're like, hey, what the fuck is this? I'm going to say, dude, I'm not sure. No clue, bro. The one very good thing about all of this, though, is once I get this all verified, if I make any edits to it, I don't have to re-verify. I'm good. If I add new scopes, which is essentially new permissions, it's kind of like if I say, hey, I'm going to borrow your car, I'm not going to take it out of the state. That would be a scope. And if I then say later, hey, I am going to take it out of the state, then I'm going to have to re-verify because that would be a scope. It's actually a very good analogy. I'm proud of that one. Or a good simile, or not a simile, a metaphor. Yeah, it's an analogy. Eat shit. So that's what I'm going to have to do. So if it's asked, then I can edit it and I can make it better. I've also already found a lot of different bugs that things just aren't working the way that they ought to work, and annoying. But it is what the fuck it is. So I'm working on that. That's been annoying, not going to lie. And then I had that Zoom call with Mina. Let's talk about that now. So I had that Zoom call with Mina. Everything was well. We went over kind of expectations of the role. And sounds great. Sounds like exactly what I'm trying to do. Well, let's take that back. It does not sound like something I want to do from the perspective of I want to code and learn software and do that shit. A lot of this that he's having me do is not that. But I am getting paid to do operations, and that's it. So no more check-ins, no more client-facing shit. I'm going to look back. I'm going to optimize everything, look at processes, write SOPs, record videos, a whole bunch of that shit, and that's going to be cool. He did say that it would be 2 hours a day to start, 6 days a week, assuming that the resignation goes through. And that's not to 21 hours that I was hoping for. It's 12. So, if you're dyslexic, that's what I was saying the whole time. Funny joke. So it'd be 12 hours, and that's, I think, $360 per week. So that would be $1440, right? $1440 a month in income. And then so if you take 30% out of that, that's, just under $1,000. So a little bit less than what I was hoping for, but he did say, with time that we can bump that up and we can see how we're doing. Because I did ask the question, I was like, okay, a lot of this stuff might require me more hours to create. And so what would we do if I go over? And he pretty much just said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And he did say that if I'm doing other stuff, it is in kind of cahoots with where I'm trying to go anyway. So it's not like he's not trying to pay me to do stuff for my own self, which I agree with. But if it's strictly for him, then he said, then yeah, we'll figure that out. And so, yeah. As far as spreadsheets and shit go, I don't think I'm going to make anything for, I don't know, dude. Maybe I ought to try doing that. Maybe I ought to try to, this spreadsheet I made for Brian, maybe I ought to try to push that out there or something. I don't know. So I can make a mean spreadsheet, dude, and just sell that? I don't know. I just don't want to distract myself from what I'm trying to do. I want to learn how to code. I want to make software. That's what I want to do. Every minute spent not doing that is a minute that I'm never going to get back. Even though it might provide money, it might provide income, whatever. If I have my bases covered in that regard, I think I just whether or not I truly believe that, I get really annoyed when I don't get that time to spend on shit. This is kind of a side tangent. I got a coworker, and well, I just heard noises, so I'm gonna go check it out. Be right back. Hold on. I'm gonna keep this going actually and see what we got. Oh, bro. There's fucking noises, bro. All right, I think we're good. No one's in my house. There's all these fucking noises in this house too. I think also my neighbors they moved out. The loud ones, always playing some mariachi band music at late at night. And they got a dog. A dog that's probably as big as this tissue box next to me. So you can imagine what it sounds like. It's just so annoying. But I think they moved out. Anyway, I've got a coworker, and we always talk back and forth. And he's like, dude, I gotta go and do this when I get home, and I had to do this with so and so, and then I had to go over here and blah blah blah. And on Tuesday I can't XYZ because I gotta go here. I'm like, dude, you got so much shit going on. I would blow my face off if I had that much shit going on. And that's me because I want to work on my shit, And so he's like, yeah, I gotta go home and do this with family, and then I gotta go over here and take care of this thing with my buddy, and I gotta go help this guy move. And I'm like, dude, god damn, I just say no, say no, don't go. So I don't know. I hear that from other people, and I'm like, dude, god damn. Like, no wonder why people don't ever succeed in shit. They got so much shit going on. And it's like, you don't have to have shit going on. You just say no. I don't know. I don't want to try to get into this, but I don't have friends that invite me to do shit. I don't have family that invites me to do much of anything unless it's like a big get together. So I don't have that outside influence, I guess, or I don't know what you would call it. I don't have other people trying to bring me into different things in life. I don't have people trying to invite me or trying to come into my space or trying to. People just don't invite me to do shit. And I think, young me would have been like, oh, nobody likes me. Nobody's inviting me to shit. But me now, dude, whatever I did to make this happen, fucking cheat code. I don't got to worry about, well, I still say no a shit ton. People will invite me to things like family, and I always say no. And I think it's fine because it's so expected now, and maybe that sounds sad or whatever, but dude, it is what it is. I get so much time to work on my own shit, and again, it just makes me think like, dude, that's probably why probably why there was such a large disparity between the successful people and then the non-successful people, because they just don't say no to shit. They have so much going on. Like, dude, I feel like I had so much going on that I just completely took everything out of my life that wasn't the one thing that I wanted to work on. And that was like learning coding and software and spreadsheets and, but dude, the other thing is like, I'm happy. It brings me joy and fulfillment to do this stuff and to use my brain to make something that makes other people's lives easier or whatever. If I make a spreadsheet and it takes me 20 hours to make it, and I have to turn down 3 things and not go outside and whatever, that's a win, a net positive for me. That's fucking awesome, because I got to spend time doing something that I love to make other people's lives and workflows and, whatever, their bottom line better, higher, greater. And if you really want to, exaggerate this, if I do that for somebody else and they in turn make more money, that means that my time spent doing this thing for others made them more money, which means I'm bettering this person's their livelihood, which impacts their kids, which impacts their wife, which impacts what they're able to do and what experiences they do. That's fucking sick. So I don't think about this at all, and I'm not even trying to play this card, but if I were to play this card, I would say it's a fucking noble thing to sacrifice my fun times, air quotes, and my time with family, air quotes, and my time with friends, air quotes, so that other people can have theirs 10 times better. I mean, I don't even think about that, but if I were to play that card, the nobility card, I'd play that one. And I mean that. I'm not playing, I don't give a fuck. But it brings me a lot of fulfillment knowing that I spent my time doing cool shit that I liked because I liked it, but that it also helps other people. That's some cool shit. I like it. I find fulfillment in that, and I'm going to keep on doing that. And if somebody doesn't like that, like if they don't like doing that type of work or whatever, then they shouldn't do that, period. Live your life. Do what you want to do that makes you happy and feel fulfilled and whatever. If that's helping your buddies move and going and doing shit with other dad friends, or, going over here and seeing this person and, I don't know, buying tables and fixing them and flipping them and whatever, or buying cards and whatever. I don't know, dude, whatever. Who gives a fuck? But do that. For me, it's just happens to be saying no to every possible thing that I could ever get, and then spending as much time as I possibly can doing the one thing that I know that I need to work on. So anyway, long way of saying I don't know. Actually, I have no idea where I was going with that. So there's a side quest there. Thanks for listening. But other thing that I did after that was Mina's call. The other thing that I did a little bit of was I went on to Mimo. I started doing some more lessons, and it's actually there. Okay, so actually I'm going to try to keep this going for 5 more minutes, because that's when the leaderboard ends, and I want to see what happens. So 5 minutes left, or 4 minutes now, of the Mimo leaderboard for the Wooden League, and this is just the coding thing. So I got put in a league of 50 people. 50th place has 70 points. 40th place has 120. 30th has 230. There's literally not a 20th place. It goes 21, 19, 18. Interesting. Oh, okay. 20th place has 520. 10th place has 900. I have 11,000. So I have 11,395 points. Second place has 2,285. So I'm almost got 10,000 more points than the second guy. I've got more points than, let's see. I've got more points than, 16 through 50. And I don't really give a shit about points, but it just kind of puts it into perspective how much I've actually been doing this. So I might have this could all be fake and horseshit and AI, and these are fake people. But if you look at the names and the profile photos, I think it's real. This guy's name is Potato, and he's got a selfie in a mall, and the picture is color graded to shit. I think it's a real person. Anyway, I've just been doing it so much, I guess, that I've been able to you get the same exact score as people total from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I don't really know where I'm going with that. I just have been doing it so much that whatever. Also, speaking of which, for my goals, so if we go to that really quick, my goals for coding, where the hell is that? I am so behind on that. It's so funny. I talked about doing so much. I'm so behind. So I should have finished lesson 14 today to be on par with my goals. I am halfway through section 8. I was supposed to finish section 8 2 days ago. I was supposed to finish 9, 10, and 11 yesterday, and I was supposed to finish 12, 13, and 14 today. And I overestimated what I could do. And the first couple of days, I was really letting that get to me. I was like, holy shit, dude, I'm way behind. Dude, it's not that it's hard. It's that it requires so much mental bandwidth for me, so much brain power, that it's very hard to power through these things, because one lesson's like 5 to 10 minutes long. But for me, it's so intensive because I got to really look at every single thing and figure it out in my head before I give an answer, because I'm trying to learn. I could go through and just click shit and get the right answer and move on, but I'm not learning. So what the fuck is the point of this if I'm not learning? Okay, there's 1 minute left till the leaderboard ends. So with this new, whatever you want to call it, in mind, if I just do one lesson per day, because apparently 3 per day is way too much. If I did 1 per day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then we're going to finish here on May 11th. And that is actually 3 days after I was supposed to finish HTML. So I'm not even going to get to HTML, but we'll get there. So I think what I'll do is I'll just focus on one course per day, one section, I guess, per day, and we'll go from there. Okay, we got 1 minute left of this leaderboard. I want to see what happens. Nothing's going to happen. It's just going to put me into what comes after wood. There's 5 leaderboards. Probably going to go wood, bronze, gold, or no, wood, bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, guaranteed. That's 6. Wood, silver, gold, diamond, platinum. Okay, it says 0, 0, 0. Nothing's happened. Oh, there we go. Congratulations, you finished number 1 of 50 in the wooden league and advanced to the stone league. That's it. Let's save that image. That's pretty sick. Okay, continue. Complete one more lesson to start competing with others. Okay, let's just start a lesson. Is this a short lesson? Oh, hold on. Let's start one. Is this a short lesson? Not really. I don't really want to do that. So I guess I'll come back tomorrow and let you guys know what the fuck happens here. Yeah, so anticlimactic for sure. What else is there? %43 of the way done with JavaScript, 6% done with front end, 11% with back end, 5% with full stack. Leaderboard trophies, got the wooden league. That's cool. Give me all the trophies. All right, guys, I'm done. I've talked on for way too long. We got this Mina Zoom call here. But anyway, that's kind of how shit's going. It's a good day. I don't want to say it was very productive. I could have done a lot more, but it was a good day, so I'll take it. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to get as much done as I possibly can, but it's going to be another full day for me. It's my grandma and grandpa's 50th wedding anniversary celebration. And, yeah. You know what? I'm going to share one more thing. 2 days ago, or yesterday, I tried to order a green button-down short-sleeve shirt for photos that I'm having tomorrow. So that's 2 days. And I thought, okay, I'll just overnight ship it. I'll get it tomorrow morning. No problem. I'm not exaggerating at all when I say this. I tried Amazon. I've got Amazon Prime. I tried Amazon. I tried Walmart. I tried Target. Tried Nordstrom Rack. I went to Ross physically. I tried Old Navy, I tried Hollister, tried Abercrombie and Fitch. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not exaggerating one bit. I Googled green button-down dress shirt, get tomorrow. Not one thing popped up. So I said, okay, get Saturday morning. Not one, not one shirt popped up. I'm not exaggerating one bit. Not at all. On Amazon, nothing was going to get here tomorrow, which was today. But there was a lot that were going to get here on Saturday. But, it says before 10 p.m. Photos are at 3. I need to have that motherfucker by 3. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to order one. And if it comes, then great. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have a backup plan. But the one that I'm ordering, I'd prefer, but whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to go to the store again today. And like actually today, Friday today, and go find something. But then I actually looked again. So I went on Amazon. I looked, just dozens of shirts that I could choose. And I had the option to choose shipping next day, tomorrow, 4 a.m. Where the fuck was that yesterday, dude? And yes, I did just eat the mic. Where the fuck was that yesterday? Wait. Hello? Oh my Lord, my mic's not even working. No way. My mic's not been working this whole time. Oh my Lord, my mic has not been working this whole time. No way. Well, I put the mic in my mouth for extra emphasis, and I realized that the sound waves were not getting bigger. So that's what kind of gave it away. Dude, wow. So if I get down here, that's me touching my nose to the screen. Dude, god damn it, bro. Why does it do that? When have I ever taken it off the mic, bro? It's plugged in. Anyway, so where the fuck was that option with ordering a shirt? Why didn't I have that yesterday, but I do have it today? Is it just so they can get more money for the overnight shipping because I can pay more? Is that why they do that shit? But why didn't they do it yesterday? Fucking stupid. All right. That's it. So we got Mina's Zoom call right now. I think it was about half hour long. That's it. So that was the show. That was episode 561. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. Here's the call. Bye-bye.
Yo.
What's going on?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Doing good, dude. How are you?
Good. I want to jump right into things because I have a hard stop at 6:30, okay?
Okay, no problem.
30 minutes.
Yep.
Awesome, bro. How are things going with the decision? Final decisions being made Monday?
Well, dude, I'm only seeing green lights. Like, there's not one thing that I've seen that's like, oh, shit.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. Even when I do all the hypothetical shit with ChatGPT, it's like, yeah, you should be good. So, I mean, whatever that means,
Fucking asking ChatGPT for the look in the future.
Well, I'm just like, hey, based on all of this, and it's like, I can't give advice. I'm like, oh, hypothetically speaking. And then and then it tells me it's so funny. But
cool.
So how it would work would be Monday, they would say yes or no. And then I would reply, I would say yes. And I'd finish out that week. And then, because there's like an out processing, whatever. And then, and then that following Monday would be my first official day of no work. But it's a short week next week for me anyway. So, and I've got some PTO to burn. So I hopefully...
Would they back pay you for the PTO? I'm very curious.
They will. And I actually still accrue it for the full time, which is crazy. So...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm going to get like a little $2,000 bonus at the end of...
That's good. Yeah, when I left... Because I remember when I left my finance job, I had a whole shit ton of PTO that I never used.
Just cash it out.
They just cashed it out for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they said, "Fuck you guys, give me my money."
Yeah. So mid Wednesday, assuming everything goes well, that would be my last day of work. So
good shit. I'm excited, man. Again, I'm not gonna
get
too excited. You know, just
Dude,
in case.
I'm very hopeful. Like I don't know. I'll be very upset if it doesn't.
Hopefully. Cool. All right. So I put into a lot of thought into like what exactly I'd want, like obviously your new role to entail, right?
Yeah.
It's really just going to be operations. Okay.
Okay.
And operations in turn. Let me actually, do you mind if I just record the meeting? I think it'll be easier.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Just so if you ever want to refer back to anything, if I record to the cloud, you have access to it, right? Pretty sure.
Cloud? Like iCloud?
Yeah. No,
Recording in progress.
I'm pretty sure. I think they send me an email and I can just forward it to you and you can see it. Anyways.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So new role, right, will be primarily operations and processes. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the thing.
Okay.
And I think that's shit anyways. I'm trying, like, I really put into thought, like, okay, Bryson, if he's going to log in like 2 hours a day or so, what can he do that's not like a timely thing where it's like on a crunch time, like for example, fucking check-ins, right? But something that is a day-to-day that can help me out, you know, and help the company out and the business out in general. So I thought to myself, what am I doing on a daily basis that I'm able to hand off to you? And of course, you're probably gonna end up doing it better anyways. That's the end all be all, right? Because that's the whole point. I want to find people that do shit better than me. So that's kind of the thing. So I wrote down a whole list. I actually used ChatGPT as well because I just rambled on and it like broke things up to be a lot.
ChatGPT is the man, dude.
Yeah, it really is the man.
We lived life without it for like.
Well, it might be a woman. You don't know what it is.
That's a man. It's smart. So, I'm getting canceled for saying that. I'm just playing.
I got you on a recording, bro. You're fine.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah. Anyway, so key responsibilities, right? I'll just share my screen at this point because it's going to be easier to see things, and I'll put into a nice doc and things. I just didn't want to make things official just yet. Okay.
Yeah. No, understood. Yeah.
Until we discuss things together. So the key responsibilities, right? Like, again, it's all back end, right? Back end of client experience, back end of team operations, making sure that you run it smoothly, efficiently, proactively. So there's going to be a couple core responsibilities. Okay. First things first is going to be the acquisition and payment processing. So I'm actually going to give you some sort of access to my Stripe. And what I want is like, I have a kind of like a master client log. I think you actually have access to this as well as a viewer. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Pretty sure. Oh, that check-in log I don't have access to anymore. I was going to update it for you, but.
No, you're good. This is a master client log. So you're a viewer here already anyways, right? So what I do is, obviously I have the guys that are in PIFs, guys that are in monthly, things like that, which is what you made anyways. And also like, this is my running log of like people who, owe me money on a specific day. She actually paid early. I didn't even have to ask her. She was like, hey, I paid. Cool. But more or less, like, you're just making sure that these things are done. And most of these people we already have, the hell is 617?
I don't know. It's not even near any other keys on the.
And why is this 5-4 and not whatever? Do you see how fucking jumbled this is? Anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
Besides the point. All right. So anyways, so obviously like you have access to the Stripe. You can process the payment due to a payment method, which is really easy. And then you're able to just do things accordingly. Okay. So that'll be one of the things. You'll also work in tandem with the sales team as well. Because the sales team will then monitor the upcoming payments. They'll tell you, or we'll have a chat. You'll just be added to the sales chat. And then that way they'll say, split pay 730, 760. So then you just add that to the log and you make sure that happens on that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty simple. And then you'll probably have some log that you can create, which is really simple as well. You'll also let me know if like a monthly that's already scheduled as like a subscription. So these are all scheduled as subscriptions usually. If they are, they decline or whatever case, they don't go through, and you're always able to go to Stripe and look at that transactions anyways. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. So that's that. Here. Now the onboarding transition is really cool too. You already have access to this log. here that is just something that I do and I haven't had the time to do is basically you're going to do the section here because I'm guessing the 2 hours for you are going to be in the morning, correct?
That'd be ideal.
Yeah. So I imagine like whenever it's their first day and I'll actually have David fill you in on what he does. All you do is just assign the check-ins to them, let them know the check-ins are there, and then you just add them to the master log. That's it.
Okay.
So like basically just to give you a heads up, like this log here, onboarding completed. Okay. Mm-hmm. Brian updates this with their anticipated starting date. Okay.
Okay.
Make sense? Mm-hmm. So after when their anticipated starting date here and when that starting date comes, they get you shift them here and you message them a thing. I'll have David show you this, which is really simple. And you're literally this is the operation side because you'll assign them the check-in and then you'll be able to add them into the master client log here.
Okay.
With their start date and end date. So because you're already aware of people who were sold into the program, right? Because you'll be encompassed in the sales team process. Hey, just sold him into a 6 month. You'll be able to understand, okay, he was sold into a 6 month because I have him on the sales log as a 6 month. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you add them here. You do if they got added today, for example, May 2nd, you do May 2nd as a start date. And then the end date would be, 11/2. So November 2nd. That's plus 6 months.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'll record a loom just to give you like a more understanding of this.
Honestly, I'm just trying to figure out in my head how I can make this so much easier. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's where my mind's at already. But
cool.
Yeah, no worries.
Good. So that will be like start date, plan type, coach assigned, blah, blah, blah. Pretty simple. And I'll have David probably either meet with you or just maybe he can record a loom and show you too.
Okay.
That this here, right here, is basically the green coach responsibility that you may have seen on the onboarding SOP that I created.
I remember the blue and the blue green was like red or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So any questions on those first two responsibilities?
No, dude, like always, no right now, but I'm sure I'll have some later.
Cool. Now, this third one is probably one of the most important ones. So This is where I want you to just be on top of client activity. That way, like you can like kind of see who's ghosting, who's not ghosting. We have this follow-up log here that the follow-up coaches are doing, and they're constantly, updating it with someone who needs help or someone who's ghosting, whatever. And then, of course, you can be on top of that and then kind of let us know or let the shadow coaches know, hey, this client hasn't responded in a while. You know, like the one thing that's super important here, Bryson, is basically I don't want anyone to fall off. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you're preventing people from falling off. You're not messaging them. You're just letting us know. So however you want to track that, and I think that's something that you can do on a daily basis. Super easy to just go ahead and just see if someone hasn't been active for a while, whatever. Someone who maybe there's a client that we've messaged and they didn't respond yet. Things like that. That'll be super important.
Okay. With this, would I have access to? So you know how I had my own check-in log with the boxes, and I would fill out my clients. Would I then have access to everyone else's so that I could use that kind of as a tool? Like, okay, Bob, he's 3 weeks, no check-in, and then that.
That's actually the next. That's actually the next responsibility, cool. Which is good. I added the audit thing here, which I actually had an idea of, but I didn't know how to do it, and you kind of already did that for me, so thanks. Like every day, you'll just audit the conversations, just honestly.
From earlier when I texted you, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it probably doesn't even have to be 20 to 30, to be honest with you, but just like, if there's someone that they're waiting on a reply and it was marked incorrectly as read instead of unread, you know what I mean? Or finding one of those client wins that haven't been acknowledged, or something that's like super escalated in the morning. You're like, yo, like this needs to be like someone's like, there's a fucking fire we got to put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how we would do the client activity thing. Like really, I just don't want people to fall off. We've been starting to see, and like identifying pattern would be pretty cool too. Like if eventually, like after a period of time, you're like, yo, it's been every client that signs up at the 3 or 4 week mark, they fall off. You know what I mean? That'd be super cool to know, because based on the data that you'll collect, where it's like, fuck, maybe we should do something like maybe their 4th week, we should just have a call set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a call with them and keep them going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think in my head how I would like track the life cycle.
I think that would be more with the next one here with the 4th, with the check-ins.
Just like see when they start missing.
If you start to see they start missing their 3rd check-in, you know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, something like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
And you'll see, because of the log that you have, you'll see the date that they missed the check-in. They also have an understanding of their communication. You're like, oh, like they missed the check-in of the 3rd week, and also they didn't respond. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that can be some sort of trend that we can see too. Okay.
Cool.
Make sense?
Yep.
And you'll have access to the check-in logs of each coach, so that way you can audit them as well.
Okay. Would it be possible to put it all into one thing, or would you rather they're not in one thing, like all in one big?
It would be tough because either way they'd have to be split up anyways. Like, because David needs to know who his clients are. Johnny needs to know who his clients are.
You can put like a little tag next to it on spreadsheet. So like, how we have the like the B100 or whatever, B flex.
Yeah, but then when you think about it, we'd have a running log of 170 or 160, whatever. And then it would take more time for each shadow coach, check-in coach to go through, and find the ones that they're tagged with.
Well, you can just like sort it so they're all in one chunk, how they are now. You know what I mean? So like David's, Brian's, Andrew's, or whatever. You can sort it that way. Like literally just push a button. You know what I'm talking about? So there's that. The only reason why I suggest that is because it would put it all into one spot, and that way I could have all the data. I could put all the data in one spot rather than 3 different sheets and then try to. So you can put it into one file but different sheets.
Yeah, I know, like what you're saying, 100%. I'm just trying to think if that would be the most efficient for the shadow coach as well. Mm-hmm. Like what's going to take more time? Like the shadow coach having to go through the master file and finding their section and doing that and having all that data in one, or you just having access to the check-in logs, and like you have a day where it's your check-in audit day, whatever, of your 2 hours, whatever, like, and you spend 30 minutes doing it, and then you just like write down or flag whoever's there, and then you let the shadow coach know like this guy needs to be responded to, or this guy needs to. We can think about it. That's fine. Okay. We don't have to get too much into the details already. And then this one I think is going to be your favorite.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the operational processes. So like that's where like you're looking at current workflows. I'm going to basically involve you in every flow, every single flow, because what I want you to do is like you're just a fly on the wall. You don't have to like have a hand in anything, but I'd love to you to see what the processes are and see like with your fucking mind. Like, this could be a little better if we did this instead. If we did this instead. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like it's not like you won't like have actual tangible work most of the time when it comes to process flow assessment, but just keeping your mind active to what we can do better.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. I think that's where you're going to shine through the most, to be honest with you. Okay, because then you'll be involved in the onboarding process. You'll be involved in like the check-in process, all these different things. And you're just like, it would be easier if we just did it all in one sheet. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Does that make sense?
Yep. That makes perfect sense. Yep. We're good.
Cool. And the client retention support won't come yet. But I do want you to see, like, just keep on track, obviously, with like renewal dates and stuff as people get closer, just notifying, things like that of like, this person is getting close to renewing, blah, blah. Like maybe we should have a conversation with them and see.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Because I already know, like, some of these, like, honestly, I want to let go. I'm not going to lie to you. Mm-hmm. And then some of them, like, genuinely speaking, we probably could have made a better effort to keep them.
Okay. Are they just kind of clients that are just headaches, you just don't want them anymore?
Yeah.
Like, I guess when you have 150 million clients, you can pick and choose who you want to keep, huh?
Oh, yeah. Like this girl here, Martina.
Yeah.
I gave her an absurd number to renew. Like, I was like, if you want to renew, it's this much. She's like, oh, wow, it went up like crazy. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, because I just don't want to work with her.
Yeah.
Like,
What would you do if she said yes, though? You'd be like, oh, fuck.
no, then it's a win for me. I'll put up with her, but she just paid me fucking double.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
Yep.
So it's like, if you're going to work with me, you got to be fucking worth it, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. So that was basically the role in a nutshell.
Okay.
Okay. How do you feel about it?
That sounds perfect. This sounds fantastic, to be honest. Honestly, it sounds pretty exciting.
And I think it's very fair. Like, I'm happy we did this because I think it's very fair to assume that most of these things can be a day-to-day where your first 2 hour, your 2 hours of working in the morning are just like bang, 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 and you're done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not something that like every morning you can check the conversations, you know what I mean? Or every morning you can check who's renewing soon, or every morning you can see, all right, it's Monday, so all of the check-ins from last week should be completed by now. Let me see who missed last week.
Do you foresee this being like every single day is pretty much the same? Like the first?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
I don't think so, because there's no point in you checking every single day who missed check-ins from last week.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, things like that don't make sense, but
yeah.
Just doing what needs to be done.
And that way, like, Bryson, like, genuinely speaking, I want you to be another me on the operation side. Like, I do all this shit that I just told you. Mm-hmm. All of it. Amongst everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'd love for you to handle that, become like another me in the operation side. That way I can like fully trust you that things are getting done that way. And you can become like almost like in the mornings anyways, when you're on shift, because I'm not going to take up your whole day, like we said. But while you're on shift, you're the go-to that's communicating with the rest of the team. Okay,
cool.
You get what I'm saying?
Is all this in just normal text message group chats, or do you have Slack yet? Or is that because I remember you saying something?
I'm actually considering Slack. I'm considering something like that. I wish fucking High Level had this. And one actually, while we're on the high level discussion, I wanted to ask you, did you give any thought to our last discussion about High Level?
Honestly, no. I just thought we were talking about the automations and stuff, and I'm totally cool with doing that.
Like, would that be something that you'd like to consider in part of your responsibilities, building out High Level?
If you're talking about all the automations, so when I was importing each client, like I honestly didn't really understand how to do that because I feel like I kind of made it messy. So if that was already set up.
I'm talking more on like the sales side for now, and then the automation. The sales side is technically automation, like with like obviously having the closers there, seeing the calls booked and stuff, syncing the calendars. That'd be pretty cool. As well as like the automations with the emails and the blast messages and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking. 100%. Honestly speaking, like the log that we have is pretty good for current clients. You know what I mean? Do we really need that? You know?
Do we need go high level?
No, like for that side, for the log.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think the logs I don't really know anything about go high levels logging or how you keep track of that stuff, but
I just want a streamlined process with the sales side, because like what we do now, Bryson, I'll show you, right? Like this is what I've done with the streamlined version of like our process stream right now. We are on WhatsApp because that's just the communication that we have with the people overseas. But
is that with your VAs?
Yeah. So the sales team here, like for example, like sales call recordings, I imagine is going to stay here anyways. But then the ammo here is super important for me, because what happens is, like my VAs, I have them trained. So whenever they book a call, they upload the conversation that we had with the person. So the sales closer, who also has access to this, can see prior conversations and thus have a better understanding of what this person is saying.
Oh, that's really cool.
Wow. I call it ammo. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. You got a lot there. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, this is.
Wait, when did you start this?
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is recent. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I wish we signed all of them, but obviously, when you introduce closers to the environment, close rate goes down just because it's not me anymore. You know?
Does the close rate overall go down, or is it per person goes down? Does that make sense?
overall will go down, because when you introduce someone who's not you closing, no matter what my closer was at 80%, bro. Now it's a lot lower. It's like around 40 or 50%, which is still healthy. Usually it's the 30%, 30 to 40% is where it's a healthy manner. But I'm going to try to bring that up, and this is how you do it. You know what I mean?
Mm. So I wish cool with that, because it gives you so much more time for other parts, right? Of the business.
Dude, this last month has been fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you're like 80 something, right?
95.
95. Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. I told you last week or 2 weeks ago when we talked, I was like, this is going to be a good month.
Well, you made me guess. I said 85 and you said, yeah, but you're like, oh, there's 3 more days left.
Yeah.
Does it kind of bother you that you're five off?
A little bit, but then I really caught myself up. Like, stop being a fucking idiot.
95, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah, thank God, bro. But yeah, so that's another thing that I want to do, where like this process overall, like another idea, what I can do is basically I can just speak to ChatGPT, and I'll just tell it, this is how we do things right now currently, and I want you to streamline to what we can do and go high level. And then it'll probably spew out what you can do, and I'll send that over to you.
Okay, yeah. I don't have a problem with setting that up if it's, there's a learning curve for sure, because I don't know anything about it. So
I just personally feel like, this is not me selling you it, but I personally feel like there's going to be, like, to what your route is now, I think there's going to be a lot of benefit for you to learn how high level works. Yeah, another tool in my tool belt for when I'm offering stuff, kind of. I think so, for sure. And there's a lot of people that I know personally that would pay a big sum for someone to go in there and just set everything up for them. Ease of access.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. And you can be like another one of the AR funnels, but hopefully not an asshole like them.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's so funny, dude. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, dude, that's very exciting stuff. Yeah, 100%.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, and I think that's it. And another thing too, with the whole other responsibility, I'm just remembering off the top of my head. So everything we talked about, plus the high level responsibility, and another responsibility, which I think, again, not to sell you anything, but a lot of coaches want this, is KPI tracking. And I think we already talked about that last time we talked, right? Mm-hmm. So I would like to know, like, since you're going to have access to Stripe and obviously the transactions and stuff, I'd like to see if you can set up some sort of log that calculates profitability rate or something like that. Like kind of like an expense sheet for coaches.
Well, that's actually part of the thing I'm making for Brian, and I think he's going to give that to everybody. But
oh shit, well,
yeah.
Cool.
Well, I didn't make it; the other guy did, and I don't know, some of the shit he did. I was like, bro, this is fucking horrible. So I kind of feel.
If you want to make it better and call it one of your responsibilities here, I'm glad for it, because I would like you eventually to like be part of that too. Where like you can, like, obviously you have a sheet that you can offer to other people, and you can make it here where you're tracking, like, obviously total monthly revenue or weekly revenue, whatever you want to do, and then sum it up for months, whatever. And then like obviously expenses too, like how much I'm paying my closers, how much I'm paying you guys, my subscriptions, things like that, advertising costs. And obviously like you're not going to have access to like my bank account. So I will be able to just text you like, yo, this or this or this. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And I think it'd go well. I'm actually going to probably set up a payroll system. I just don't know which one I'm going to go with.
QuickBooks or something like that?
I mean, QuickBooks would be the easiest thing to track all my expenses. It's just that I need to actually I transitioned to an S Corp. So I need to actually have business accounts now. Remember when I told you I don't do business accounts?
Yeah.
Now I actually have to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would have to set that up. But besides the point, I'm talking about like Wise or ADP. You know what I mean? Something like that. Where
I don't know anything about that stuff.
Those are just payrolls. So like I can send out direct deposits and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. It's official then, huh?
Yeah, bro. We have fucking 11 or 12 employees.
I was thinking about that. I feel like you brought me on and there was Andrew and Johnny and Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Just I treat this as a company, dude. That's what I want.
I know you got to go like now, but I had a question. So with all these different systems and processes, if I wanted to optimize something, like some of these projects like I'm working on, like they just take hours. That would definitely go over the 2 hours. Would you want me to log that, or would that just be like my own time, or like how would that work? Because I'm not trying to milk you hours, but I definitely, like, if there's something that can be improved, I want to make sure that I could work on that. You know what I mean?
No, that makes a lot of sense. It's a good question. So the thing is, it's like with the 2 hours that I'm talking about for your shift work, that's like direct work with like tracking things, logging things accordingly. You know what I mean?
Only that.
I feel like that's the best way to go. Because then from there, like the optimizations and working on the logs and stuff like that, I feel like there's also coincision with what you're doing anyways. You know what I mean? But I like whenever you're working directly for the business, like EmiFit, client work, talking to my guys, whatever in the morning or something like that. Obviously, like if you're just answering a message throughout the day, please don't log that.
But I worked 1 minute here. Yeah.
But for the most part, I think that's the way to go. And I'd like to at least start with the 2 hour thing per day. And I'm guessing we're going to do what, 5 days, 6 days a week? What are you looking for?
I honestly do it as much as I can. Like I was actually banking on 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is obviously if the resignation goes through, but that's what I was banking on.
Can we start with 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday?
Yeah. Is that just
I think we'll
hours?
start that. Yeah, 12 hours. We'll start that with your current rate right now. And then we'll continue to see. And if it starts to become a thing where you're like totally overflowing on hours, then we can have a separate discussion and see what we'll do.
Okay.
But I will say, Bryson, like, and I know we had this discussion last time, and I'm not going to fucking go through the conversation we had before, but really 2 hours a day means 2 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Let's fucking commit, you know what I mean? And get shit done. Because I would like you to be here for the long run. You know what I mean? Like,
I would like to be. This is cool.
Yeah, this is like not a temporary thing. And you're going to see, Ben, by the end of this year, it's going to be fucking crazy. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be fucking crazy. I can't even imagine.
It's April. You did 95, so.
Yeah, cool. I want to hit 95 and 100 every month. So we'll see how we're going to do that.
Fuck, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Cool. Obviously, this is all dependent on the resignation because I can't commit to that if it doesn't go through. I can do like weekend work and stuff, but
we'll wait until Monday to finalize things, and if Monday you give me the go ahead, yep, Wednesday's my last day. By Wednesday, I'll give you an updated contract, everything like that, just to kind of set things in stone and stuff and get the ball rolling. And then we'll talk about if you want to just fucking kick off on Thursday, and I'll just pay you for 3 days. I don't mind.
Okay, you know what I mean? That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you wanted to start on Thursday, we can do that. No problem.
Cool. All right. I know you got to go, so.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Was there anything else you want to talk about real quick? Did I miss anything?
No, I think we're good. I think we'll just address it as it comes up. Like if I'm recording SOPs, it might take me, I don't know. I'm just trying to think long term. Like if I was doing something that took longer than those 2 hours, how we would address that. But
yeah. Look, I'm a very fair guy. You know that. So if it becomes a thing where it's just like, all right, well, he worked a little extra here, then he took it away from the next day, or he just like constantly was just like, damn, like I worked 3 hours in a 2 hour shift, then we'll talk about like increasing that. That's no problem.
Okay. I had the same conversation with Brian's team. I was like, because they wanted me to work part-time, and my first week I cleared 42 hours, and I told them, I was like, hey, like this is just how it is, just the time it requires. If you want me to work less, that's cool, but shit's not going to get done. And then they didn't officially say anything, but they're like, yeah, we don't want things to slow down, so you're okay. And I was like, okay. So
cool.
I cleared for that.
Awesome, bro. Cool. Well, I'll keep you posted. Well, keep me posted as well. I'll write up something with the 6 responsibilities plus the 2 that I didn't write down, and we'll go from there. All right?
Cool. Sounds good, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bro. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace. You guys can hear kids screaming across the street. Holy shit. All right, cool. Oh, Brian just texted me. What do you say? Fuck, that's cool, he says. I'll take a look tomorrow. Take a look tomorrow? What do you mean take a look tomorrow, dude? Yeah, it's 3:30 for you right now. Look now. Anyway, that's a call with Mina. Answered a lot of questions for sure. The hours there, that was kind of a bummer there. The hours are going to be reduced, so it wouldn't be every day of the week. It'd be 6 days a week. It'd be 2 hours. So let's actually update that in my planner here. Deferred or not. Let's update these hours. So Mina money would be 12. Mina money would be 12. Mina money would be 12. Let's see. So the month, in the money. Okay, in the month. So that's correct. That's correct. Oh, that's not correct. So I'll have to go back and adjust these numbers. I'm just looking at the forecast for these different these different things for resignation. But just trying to think long term here. So he said 12 hours, 30. Who knows, man? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll go back up to 20. If it goes to 20, then hell yeah. But if not, then we'll just go from there. But anyway, that's the call. I'll probably will speak more before the Zoom call. It doesn't matter. But anyway, that's a show. Peace.